We are living in a new age where kids now are getting millions of views. Entrepreneurs are having the most uninteresting stuff, but they do get most of their money from ads. And then we have a photographer that's been there for 50 years who knows how to make beautiful photos and beautiful visuals, but he is also not getting attention. Why is that? And how can we make, as business owners, the most amount of money using the combination of all of those three? In the past 9 years, I've been making content for my clients, helping them create ads and get more clients. But 2 years ago, I started building my personal brand, and then my Instagram blew up. I got 120,000 followers in one single year, which obviously changed my life. But before that, I've managed to 10x my prices, raise my prices 10 times because of some messages that I learned that I had to communicate. And I learned like what is the psychology? What do clients actually care about? What do they want to see? What do they not want to see? What do they want to learn about you? And what do they not care about you? I see so many people make this huge mistake on Instagram where like, hey, I'm Sam and I'm a specialist in content creation and this and this and this. No one cares about that. People care about the value that you can provide or the entertainment or those kind of stuff. I now work with people who make between $1 and $4 million a month. From some of them I learn and study, and others I help them with their personal brand. Now, what they do is they focus mainly on ads, which is an amazing way to make a lot of money. While ads are great, there is a lot of problems with them because we're living in times where everyone is fighting for attention and no one wants to see ads. And if everyone is fighting for attention, what will go to the cost of attention? It will just go up. And the second reason is it's easier to close people who already have a huge problem. But then if you want to grow your business, you got to niche out to people who don't even know they have this problem and then go up in the levels of beliefs. The first belief would be probably like, I want to make a lot of money. The second belief would be, I want to make a lot of money online. The third belief would be probably to make a lot of money online with sales or ads or whatever. And then the fourth belief will be, the best person who can help me with this is you. The closer we get to this belief, the easier it is to make the sell because ad costs and also the sales is much easier. But then the further we go away from those beliefs, the harder it is and the more costly it is to convince them about you. And then the second problem is when you get calls from ads, they just know you. They don't like you or trust you. So we need to convince them to like you and to trust you, which makes sales so much harder. Those people who I work with, their sales team fights over leads that already know, like, and trust those people because it's so much easier to make the sale. Ads are amazing, but it's a short-term game. And it's not sustainable because the ads are just going up. And it's actually really hard to make good ads that are actually different from each other and educational and good. And then it's also really hard to sell them and convince them. Now the question is, how do we make people know about you, which is where most people fail, but little TikTokers are really good at that. How do we make them actually like you, like your personality and want to engage with you? And then the third is, how do we make them trust you? How do we make them lower their guard so you're not a salesman or a scammer or someone that they don't know, they don't want to buy from, to someone who they can really trust and be like, oh my God, you're speaking exactly to my problems. I love all these solutions. I love your mindset. I love how you think. And I'm almost ready to buy. I just need someone to tell me what the price is, what you can do exactly, and how you can help me, and what I need to do for it. Now, in those 9 years, I've managed to learn a lot about all those things. And I've got some crazy results. Other than just raising my prices 10 times and gaining 120,000 followers, I've managed to make one single post, which was a very ugly, just plain text, only copywriting. And that got me my full Calendly booked for 2 whole weeks. 150 calls within a few hours. It was 100% organic. I made this post in 5 minutes, maybe less, maybe 3 minutes, something like that. It wasn't easy for people to book the call. I didn't had to DM them, to message them, to speak with them. They had to go to my link in bio. They had to find the right link to go to my Calendly link, and then they had to fill in a whole questionnaire. Some people even waited till 3 a.m. or woke up super early to get on this call. And all of them had a problem that they wanted solved, which means it was a sales call. And if my calendar wasn't completely booked, then I would have probably gotten more calls than 150 calls. Now, don't forget, those people already know me, like me, and trust me. And they did a lot of work to get on a call with me. So that is just mind-blowing. Now, most people think that when you build a personal brand or you start making content, it takes a lot of time. I remember the first time I started making ads, I had to force myself to get in front of the camera. It was so uncomfortable for me. Now, the magic things I found is that there is a lot of power in outsourcing a lot of those things. Because I've had one assistant help me, and she basically looked at other content that I make, and she took 0 of my time. She just made a carousel from it without without even using my face. Added the right text, added something educational. And from that, we got more than 700 leads. People who wanted to hear more and learn more. It costed me 0 time. I just had to post it and that's it. And she could have done it as well for me. That was also with 0 ads, just organic. It was insane. It was mind blowing. Now, one of my friends who was with me on this journey, he got 500,000 followers from one single post that he could have also completely outsourced because it didn't show his face, it didn't show his voice, and it was all organic. So yeah, he did make this real, but he could have also not make this real and outsourced it completely. So I know most of us entrepreneurs don't have time, but it doesn't necessarily need to take time. I think that's a big misconception. And I'm always involving and trying to find ways, how can I build a personal brand with the least amount of energy and time for myself? How can I invest my money in the right way where it compounds and it builds a personal brand? And now I'm playing the long-term game and I'm relevant in the future where AI is coming for us, where AI is coming from us and the competition becomes just huge. How can I still stand out? And how do I learn how to get the most amount of attention, make most amount of sales with the least amount of time and effort? And that's the goal. Now, there is also a really interesting principle. I'm here living in Bali and with a lot of entrepreneur friends. Everyone is in marketing. This is why I love this place, because we all can grow together and we all have crazy stories and crazy results that we teach each other. And then one of them told me, like, what a crazy effect does it have when someone just records you everywhere you go? So imagine you walk into a restaurant, you have someone with a camera near you, and then what kind of celebrity effect does it create? Now, this is not a must, but this is just a really interesting principle where suddenly everyone looks at you and who is like, who is this guy? And this is just because you hired someone with a camera to follow you, which is amazing at creating opportunities at the location that you're at, because everyone is curious who you are. And the second thing is just you're creating content on the go, which is naturally coming to you. And you're naturally already having those interesting conversations with your friends, with your colleagues, with your people who work with you. And a lot of your potential clients would love to hear what you're speaking about. There are some really interesting gold nuggets there. Now, in the past 9 years, I've been working on more than 800 projects, and I've actually stopped counting. So it might be even 9 or 1,000. And 99% of those projects were very happy working with me. And I've worked with some crazy clients that if I was a kid, I would never imagine even speaking with them. Plus, even I got Netflix to contact me and ask about my prices. Here's other clients that I can't mention here. Or I've even worked on a project where the royal Dutch family was involved in it. And my intention along all those projects was, how do we make content that actually sells, that actually gets results? Okay, now the big question is, what content does actually work? And how can we make it in the least amount of time and least amount of energy? Because there is content that is just beautiful, but it doesn't get views. And then there's content that gets you views and followers, but it doesn't actually make you money at all. I've actually met a guy with 500,000 followers and he gets paid the minimum of the minimum. And then there's the marketing people who know how to make millions of dollars, but not know enough how to get people to actually know about them organically, like them and trust them. One of my friends here in Bali became super famous in Denmark, and then his reputation went down and he suddenly became the Andrew Tate of Denmark. And it got to a point where people started canceling him and started making videos about how much of a scammer he is. And I helped them get through it. And now this is a place where people can get to. When you get a lot of attention, it's scary. Things can go wrong. Now we became good friends because I've helped them get out of this phase with some really good tips about personal branding and how to present yourself and what to show to actually make people like you and not try to cancel you anymore. On the other side, most businesses, they don't know how to get organic views. They don't, like, their business is working really good, but then their organic posts are getting like 10 views or 1,000 views, and then their organic content gets like 3 likes. And then the beautiful thing is when we change it, suddenly, well, of course, the engagement grows up, but suddenly also the relationship between the customers and them is getting so much better. Now, everything they post is actually relevant to their customers and they love it. And now they like the brand much more, trust it much more, think about it much more. And then this converts into big money and into a long game. Some people might not care about it, but impact and actually solving problems for people and making an impact in the world. One of the reasons I started making content was because I love speaking about business so much. And I see that a lot of my family members are struggling with money. So I'm like telling them, like, if you just change this small thing, you can double your income. And those tricks I love. But I find out that often they don't listen to me because it's family and stuff like that. So the best way for me to actually teach them business is just to share it online. And then they can see, okay, well, I'm seeing it. And also a few million other people have seen it and liked it. And it actually is something I can implement. And if I can help my mother make double the amount of money while working less for me, this fills me up. And not only she trusts me or other people like her trust me much more, and I gained a place in their memory. They might buy from me in the future. We might connect. We might do other things together in the future. And this is just like a love relationship between me, my content, and the people I make the content for, which most people's relationship is just like, I don't want to make content. I don't know who I'm speaking to, and I don't know what they want to see. And I don't feel comfortable with all of that. Now, this whole thing is very complex. The first 7 years making content, I failed terribly. I gained in 7 years 5,000 followers. And this is mostly people who I met in real life. They liked me in real life. They saw things in me and they decided to follow me. Now, the interesting thing is that we humans don't really think about like, oh, people like me in real life. So if I just show the same things online, maybe people online will like me as well. And then instead of just speaking to one person, I now speak to potentially billions of people in the same amount of time and energy. So the first 7 years, I gained only 5,000 followers. And then since I decided to shift all my priorities and how I see this whole relationship with content, I suddenly gained in the first month 30,000 followers and then 120,000 followers in 1 year. And then my whole life changed. Instead of being a local service provider, I now live in Bali, work online, and people come to me for business. And this is how we can help you get the same results. Now, first of all, we are going to speak about how do we get actually in the least amount of time and energy, the most amount of views and the most amount of sales. And we build the brand in the biggest possible way. Like we're going to speak about what are we actually already doing that is worth making content of that we can record. And this is the interesting thing. For a lot of us, we think everything I'm doing is just super boring. Business is boring, but it's actually not true. For a lot of people, those things that you do is actually considered gold. And it's really interesting and they want to learn how you solve those problems. So if we can record this is going to be gold. Now, the second thing is how do we actually edit it? How do we make the first 3 seconds the most interesting part where people are like, I have to see it, otherwise I'm losing on all of this. And not only that, once they feel satisfied, they suddenly start sharing this with all of their friends and be like, this is what I've been trying to explain to you. Or this guy, he just gets it. Or people suddenly love what you do and engage with you. And all of that can actually happen from one single reel, by the way, which can blow your business up because it definitely did for me. So we can actually hire video editors for you. We can train them for you on how to actually make the right things because most video editors, they don't understand what actually gets attention and to make it look like your brand. Or we can just do it all for you. Then we can tell you exactly what to speak about, what not to speak, what is interesting, what do people want to see from you, what do people not want to see from you, what do people care about, what is all the content, what are all your most interesting things in your business, and then how can we even bring more into it and find what is unique about you so we can make you stand out as a business, because we all have a lot of competition, but I've actually managed to make myself and my clients to become in a place where we are not compared with our competition. We're just super unique. For example, I helped the coolest club in the Netherlands become the coolest club and become overbooked, make a lot of money, and that was only with visual identity. Now if I can do the visuals but also the copywriting and the branding, we can change so much things in your business. We can make a business super unique. Now there's also a lot of fears that go into it, like what if they see this, what if I share this is too valuable, this is a secret, I don't want to share this. Like what do we actually want to share and what is just fears that will help us grow and what are things that are just not worth sharing. Now also we'll give you feedback on everything that you do, how your website and all your social online presence looks like, because I've noticed that also people, when they understand what they need to do, they still do it wrong because there's a lot of things that are not working at the beginning, like the first 3 seconds, which I pay a lot of attention to, and then the whole body of the content, and then also the call to action. What does actually take people to take action instead of just scroll down? And then how do we actually make a lot of content that actually looks like your brand, that people will recognize instantly, oh, this is this brand and I like this brand. Now I have 99.7 or 8% people or projects who are happy working with me. The last thing I want is this number to go down. This is why we work only with people we actually think we can get crazy results with. We want you to be super happy working with us, and we want us to be also super happy working with you. So what are we going to do now? I hope you will book the call, and I'll be really excited seeing you on the other side. Ciao.